Okay. Another question that threw everybody was the flawed question. What's wrong with this methodology? First of all, you need to get it out of your head that all of these people know everything about what they're doing, that all of these people are experts, that they're all Dr. Merrill. They're not. Okay, a lot of these people doing these studies are human. They make mistakes. They're graduate students, the same as you. So there can be problems with the study. As a matter of fact, no study ever done in the history has ever been perfect. Every study is flawed. The question is to find it, to find the flaw. Actually, to be honest with you, a good researcher will tell you what the flaw is. And a few of you did that. A few of you said, hey, the limitations were this. That was a sign of a good researcher, that they were telling you what the problems were with their study. So no study is 100%. What I was trying to get you to do was to, say, you know what, this one thing that they did in their methods, I didn't quite agree with that, and it could have influenced this, or that. So I'm trying to get you to identify what could have been done better with their methods, just the methods. We're just looking at methods, not hitting into results or conclusions or anything like that, just the methods. What thing could have been done better, and what kind of impact that has with the study. I mean, worst case scenario, if it's a bad enough flaw, you have to chuck the whole study. But most flaws aren't like that. Most flaws are just going to influence the results one way or another. Anyway, I'm just trying to get you to think along those lines. Stop thinking that just because this is in print, these people know everything, that they're the experts. They're not. And you need to start identifying that some of these studies are bad. Some of these studies are awful. I think Bradford asked me, he said, look, what am I supposed to do when a study doesn't list the descriptive data? If the study doesn't list the descriptive data, the study sucks. So, pardon my French. You need to get something else. I mean, take that study with a grain of salt. Obviously, they're not being transparent and thorough. Those are good signs of good research. If a study is transparent and thorough, it's a good study. Also, that kind of study that doesn't list those things, you would not want to use it for your qualifying exam. So, and this is another example of how we're going to evaluate research so you can choose good stuff for your qualifying exam. I think that's it about the assignment. I do wanted to point out the peer feedback. So I looked at the peer feedback, and again, you're not going to see me. I'm not commenting on the discussion posts at this point in time. The peer feedback is for you to help each other. And I got to tell you, you guys were trying to be nice. You were not trying to help, because there were several of you that have no idea what inferential statistics were, and your peers never told you what inferential statistics were. So, I mean, that wasn't good. You people that knew what it was and saw that your peers had it wrong, you let them get it wrong. You didn't help them. You didn't support them. All you were concerned about was being friendly and saying, good job. And that's not helping. You're not helping anybody by doing that. So you need to get better about feedback. Look at the kind of feedback I gave and look at the kind of feedback you gave. Okay? So we need to, don't be concerned about how your peer takes the feedback. Okay? If you want to be nicer about feedback, again, I have to give hours and hours and hours to do this. If you want to be nicer about it, be nicer about it. But you still got to tell them, hey, this is wrong. And if you're getting feedback from your peers and it says, hey, this is wrong, recognize they're just trying to help you. They're just trying to support you. So stop worrying about what people think. and say what you mean. Tell them there's an issue. Tell them there's a problem. Tell them what they did right, but tell them the things that they can improve upon. And I can't even begin to tell you, when you get a DR in front of your name, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to be asked to do nonstop. And if you can't do this, people are going to think you're worthless. I don't know why, because it's not like this isn't something that you actually learn in a degree program. This is a skill that you just pick up over time. But for some reason, everybody wants to evaluate their stuff. And so you have to learn how to very nicely but firmly tell them when stuff's bad, stuff's bad. So again, this is a skill you got to learn. You're going to need it, so let's practice it now. We are in a safe space to practice. And if you've got a problem, if somebody gives you feedback and you don't like it, don't go after them, tell me. And I can judge, I'm an outside judge on a third party here that can tell you, yeah, that person was a little harsh, I'll talk to them. Or I could say, yeah, no, they're right. So if you have a problem with somebody, come to me. Don't start an argument in class. But I'll be honest, all of you guys are good, and you're a tight group. So I think you'll be okay with this. You just got to stop trying to be nice and be honest. Just be honest. The stats assignment. So you'll have noticed that you got like next to no feedback from me on it. That's fine. I said this in class, I'm going to say it again. I'm mainly having you guys do this every week to ensure that you're doing it every week. In previous classes, I would say, hey, do this. And I got the feeling that everybody just put it off, never did it. And then at the end, when they did the stats project at the end, they failed it miserably. Miserably. The highest grade was like 30%. So this is just a way for me to ensure that everybody is doing the assignment. And what the assignment essentially is you are creating your own study guide. You're not doing anything specific for me. I know this stuff. This is more or less for you so that you've got something to fall back on when you actually do the statistics project. And you're going to notice, some of you probably hit some of the stuff in your quantitative articles that was talked about in the textbook. So you're going to need this stuff when you look specifically at quantitative, anything quantitative, even the quantitative side of mixed methods. So it's not for nothing that we're doing this, but it's more or less just a brush up. Although if you haven't had any statistics, it's a little more of a catch up. But this is all about you. This is what you decide is important that you need to know for yourself. Now, a couple people have been really concerned about that because I'm not giving very specific instruction. You need to understand that you are getting a doctorate degree. You are going to be a leader. You are going to have to think for yourself and identify important things. I am not going to handhold you through this class. So consider the statistics project, these posts, as kind of like your training wheels. It's a low-risk assignment, and it's helping you to identify for yourself, to take control of your own learning and be a leader in your own learning to figure out how to move forward on this. So I'm not going to handhold, and a lot of you had that problem with 804, with that last project. I'm not going to handhold. You guys are doctoral students. You need to be able to decide for yourself the best way to highlight information, what it is that you need to know, what's important, what to share. You're going to be doctors. You have to be able to do this kind of stuff, to be the leaders that you're learning how to be. So no more hand holding. So, I mean, if you're absolutely lost, please contact me. But for the most part, you need to start figuring out some of this stuff on your own. This is what this degree is all about, is you stepping up and taking control. All right, I can see it's 23 minutes in. I didn't want to talk that long. But I wanted to give you feedback. You guys are doing a good job. I totally understand. I threw you in the deep end with this. But this is the best way to get rolling, is just to get started in it. Especially with the limited amount of time we have. I know it's 16 weeks, but we got to cover all this methodology and grant writing and action research. I mean, our every week we've got a big assignment due, essentially. So the best thing I can do is just throw you in the deep end and get you rolling with it. And you'll notice everybody got an A on this assignment. I'm mostly grading on the amount of work you're putting in. Now, as we move forward, it's going to be less about the amount of work and more about actual right answers. So that is going to change as we go forward. But right now, I'm just looking at effort and taking that into consideration. Nobody got 100 because nobody got everything right. However, everybody still got an A because I recognized everybody tried and everybody put a lot of effort into it. And I appreciate that. I appreciate your effort. So if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, please feel free. Again, email, text is the best way to get me because I always have my phone on me. I can't necessarily answer it, especially if I'm in a meeting, but I definitely can respond on my phone. So that's the best way to get me. I think that's it. I'm sure I'll be speaking to you again soon. But hang in there. I know this first go-round's a little rough and a little bumpy, but I promise it's going to get better. And I promise by the end of the semester, you will be ready for your qualifying exams. You will be up to the doctoral level when you're done with this class. I promise I'll get you there. I promise no one will sink. Everybody will swim. Okay? All right. I'll see you again soon. Take care.